I'm from North Carolina. I'm gonna take these off. They're not working. Hey guys, we have a special guest today. I'm Cheyenne. This is Cheyenne New, and today we are talking to comedian, writer, rapper, all around jolly guy, Doboy.
Yes, all of those things to describe me. Thank you.
Yes,
And I'm a superhero as well.
superhero.
hmm
I'm
And I don't know what my superpower is just yet, but I'll be feeling like a superhero.
well, okay, so I did like just do a video about like December 21st being the Negro solstice for superpowers.
hmm
So it's like once you get your intentions correct, they will emerge.
Come on, come on. That's a word. I've been learning a lot about energy, intention, and everything. I know we're gonna get into a lot of that in this conversation. So yeah, I'm really making sure I'm protecting my energy these days.
Okay, so first off, the thing that I am struggling with the most that I've seen you do is weight loss, working
Uh,
out, keeping it off, drinking water. And like, I guess to start it off, I do want to say that I watched your Get Fit, Stay Less, and I loved it. I liked the personal trainer dude. He did not
uh-huh.
let you give up. And I was like, I guess I'm still in it. I guess I'm still going. So yeah,
Right.
how did
Yeah,
that
he's
like
act.
come about?
Well, actually, I had shout out to my brother Jonathan Amaya, my trainer. I met him when I was at All Def when we were shooting Teddy versus Doughboy. Me and Teddy had a boxing match, which I won. Go look at it. I beat him up. So that's where I met him, and so that's kind of like where we built our relationship. That was back in 2016, and yeah, like he's never given up on me. Like I think when I got with him, I was like at 330. Um, right now, today, this morning when I woke up, I got on the scale today. I was 266. So, and the goal is to get to 225. That's the goal that I started at when I was 486. And he's kind of like he's kind of shifted from just being my trainer to now he's training me to become a trainer because that's the next endeavor that I want to tackle in 2021. I want to help people get fit and
Yeah.
say less. So
No,
yeah.
it's definitely like I started following like fitness Instagrams, and
hmm
the number one thing they say is like no excuses. You have to work
Yeah.
out 6, 7 times a week.
Come on. You have to. And like that's my biggest thing because I've struggled with weight like my entire life. Like I remember at the point of conception, I was a fat sperm. I was swimming through the fallopian tube with a t-shirt on. That's been fat that long. So but no, in all seriousness though, you can't BS me. Like when I come to train people, I've given every excuse. So I feel like I have a level of expertise where I know how to get the best out of people, but I also know like how to reward people and not just beat them up. Like you don't want to just go someplace and have somebody screaming at you for an hour. Like it's not productive for anybody. So I definitely have a whole approach and just going into this next phase of my life, I'm just super excited about it because I'm like, I really want to help some folks.
Yeah. So I guess in my experience, I personally found that I don't like talking about my weight loss on my YouTube channel. Is that
Hmm.
something that you want to do in 2021, or what,
Yes.
keeping it private?
Well, no, I'm definitely because I like what 2020 taught me was that I couldn't have my cake and eat it too. Let me explain what I mean. Like the error that I made was I was always so transparent with people, like my entire career, like with telling them about weight loss and alcoholism and my I did literally did a pregnancy test on the podcast back in the day where I found out the kid wasn't mine. And so I think that that's all cool when everything is cool, but then when something goes left, people kind of use that energy against you. And like I kind of felt like people were attacking me for the same reason that they loved me for before. So I kind of came to the point, to the intersection, like, okay, when I come back to content, because I always knew I would come back, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be personal anymore. Maybe I shouldn't talk about alcoholism. Maybe I shouldn't talk about my mental illness. But then like I really had to pray about it. And God was like, no, finish the mission, bro. Like you stop letting everybody get into your head. Like you're inspiring a lot of people if you finish. You look like a quitter if you just let people back you into a corner and not keep doing the great things that you want to do. So I had to do like a lot of soul searching and be like, you know what, though? If you do this, they may attack you. if you talk about your sobriety again, they may attack you. If you talk about being bipolar, but I was just like, man, I'm fine. God got me, and I'm gonna do everything I said I was gonna do and give God the glory for it. So that's just kind of like that. That's the way that I shifted back into, because I was just gonna come back and then just be like, I'm gonna just do funny stuff and I'm never gonna talk about my life personally. Then you strip me of who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'm definitely the first goal is to get that 225, and the second goal is going to be to get my certification as a certified personal trainer, then get some clients and help save some lives. My goal, because I did get weight loss surgery, right? Did you know that?
Yeah, the first time, and then you got it off
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I had weight loss surgery in 2015, January 8th. It's almost 6 years to the day. It'll be 6 years next Friday. But I want to be able to prevent people from having to get that surgery. You know what I'm saying? Because they always make you lose a little bit of weight when you go in there. So I want to be the person be like, hey, let's drop some weight in this 3 months, and then let's give it another 3 months, see if we could drop some more. Because even though I was very, blessed to have that surgery, it also came with a lot of other things that I wasn't ready for. Like mostly the transfer of addiction, and then that's kind of kicking the alcoholism into in the fifth gear. So and then even having to deal with the fact, like I've thrown up more times than I would care to even remember. And it's just what I think people don't understand about weight loss surgery. Like, you're still gonna have to do the necessary work, you know what I mean? So it's like, might as well just do it. So my goal is to be like, hey, I got that surgery, so you don't have to. We're gonna get this off the right way. We're gonna make some healthy choices. And you called me on my bluff on one of your not my bluff, but you called me on my ridiculousness sometimes. You were like, I was watching one of your videos. I actually really enjoy your content. And you said, you were like, I was working out with him, but his goal is to try to drop 5 pounds every week. Like, I'm always such an all or nothing dude. And so now 2021 is all about balance for me. I want to, because if you take it off too fast, it'll come back fast. So I want to do this right, healthy, and, practice balance.
But it's like literally it's a lifestyle change. And
Hell
I
yeah.
don't think people understand that. That's why people like The Biggest Loser, they gain it back. Celebrities, they gain it back because they don't need it anymore. And so it's like the slower you lose it, the more you'll keep it, kind of.
Absolutely. And it's just like, you have to just, keep that in the forefront of your mind. Like, this is something, because I think what people get confused too, they focus so much on that 1 hour a day that they're trying to get that workout in and all that sweat stuff. And I'm more under the understanding that those other 23 hours in that day are more important than that 1 hour. Like, the way that you eat, sleep is important, water is important, supplements important. It's so, like you said, it's a lifestyle. So you can't, I think sometimes people get the wrong idea about it. They're like, oh, New Year's resolution, I'm just gonna go super hard in the gym. You go in the gym and you kick your butt for 3 weeks, and you right back to eating pizza and cookies, and the fight is over. So you're right, it's definitely a lifestyle shift. Same thing with the with the alcoholism. It's really just a daily thing, and you just really have to change your life to be successful in.
Speaking of which, okay, so you touched on one thing that I want to come back to, but then I want to ask you another question.
Okay.
So basically,
Drop my mic.
no problem. But basically, I think the way we view audiences is really different. Like, I really don't think that people are deserving of everything if they can't take it the right way, But I want to get back to that later, because right now I'm going to ask you, do you have any 2021 resolutions or goals?
I actually had touched on that in a video that I had dropped yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to do New Year's resolutions. I want to do new day resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
Every day, I just want to be creative, and I just want. But overall, for this year, I definitely want to stay sober this year. I definitely want to just get back to doing content. I suffered so much last year just because I wasn't creating, and I like, you gotta understand, like, I've been a comedian for 15 years. That just sounds so long. But I have been chasing this relentlessly that entire time, and more so the past 6 years. I'm talking every single day, this is what I was doing. So to remove me from that, it's everything. Like, I feel like the wheels fell off the whip, man. It just really kind of drove me crazy, literally and figuratively. So I just want to get back to doing good content, and then the content that I do, I just want it to mean more. I want it to be more impactful, because one thing that I didn't like about some of the content that I would do before, I was like a caricature of myself, like, you know what I mean? And like I was really self-deprecating, and I was always a fat joke, always a stupid joke. And it was like, that was cool, but in this digital age, people will really start to think that that's how you are. Like, I'm pretty sure we all knew Cole wasn't that stupid, but that was his character on Martin. I created a character that I thought everybody can clearly see this as a character, but people were like, no, he's really an idiot. And so that was starting to affect how I viewed myself personally. It was making me depressed about myself. So I was like, I can't keep being the butt of the joke. You know what I mean? Like, I'll never forget one time this girl told me, she was like, Doughboy, you're not a comedian, you're a joke. And that hurt me. It hurt me bad. And I just didn't want that. And so even in kind of like, walking away from different content that I was doing, it was like I almost had to, because it's like, that's what they know me from. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I almost have to like recreate myself. So, and to bring it back to your original question, I want this to be the year that the world gets to know the real Doughboy, not this character that I created, not this person that's like always the idiot or just always taking the jokes. Like, no, I actually am a really positive person, and I really just want to help. I want this platform to help people live better, not just laugh, because I feel like it's just more to me than that.
Yeah.
And so that's really important to me.
One thing I noticed, like watching you over the last couple of years, is that unfortunately, when you are like the provider of the joke and the subject of the joke, people do start to like, the same people that identify with you are the same people who are going to take it too far and be like, oh, this is my homie, this is Doughboy, I can shit on him too. But it's like a bunch of strangers can't keep shitting on you and expect better content, Because it's like, you're shitting on me.
It got so bad last year. Like, it was. I would like to think that I've had a difficult life. Like, I've overcome some things. Like, you see what I'm saying? From May of last year till genuinely like December might have literally been the most difficult 6-month period I have ever experienced in my life. And a lot of it was because of things people were saying about me. And it was like, I don't think people understand that, because when people type their comments, I don't think that it really lands that you're saying this to a person. There's somebody over there that's gonna read this and and see what you're saying. Like, then that's why I always respected how you ever spoke about me, because you were at least objective. Like, there's people out there that would just pull up these theories that were not true and then just spell them out to the world like this is what it is. It's like, first of all, it's just so irresponsible to do that.
Yeah.
And then you don't even know what that person is over here, how they're like. I'm literally watching videos about like with tears coming down my face, like, my kid coming, it's like, my kid ain't no Tyler, like, people name dropping my kid. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that's when I was like, I was this close to just being like, either I'm gonna just leave this industry or I'm gonna just be a writer and they ain't gonna never see me again. Like, that's the type of pain it did to me. But I learned from it, like, forget them people, because who's more important? The people that can be positively impacted by this testimony that I have, by the the community that I'm trying to build, of people trying to stay sober from alcohol, for the people that are trying to get in shape. Like, if I could just touch one of those people and make their life better, then I don't care about the 100 that got something to say, because who cares? It's easy to be negative. So taught me a lot.
Do you want to clear up anything from the past year that people made assumptions on, or do you want to leave it?
And when you and I had initially talked, I did, like, I was like, yeah, I want to kind of clear the air and talk about these things. And I actually, when I did my first video yesterday, I had like kind of like went into a recap of everything that happened like, I shot the video twice, but then I was just kind of like, I'm just kind of over it. Like, you know what I mean? But no, there are some certain things that I do want to clear up. All right, so obviously the thing that everybody asked me about is Righteous and Ratchet. That's the number one thing everybody wants to know. And everybody feels entitled to intimate details of why that relationship ended. And I'm not gonna get into it, like, we already spoke about this before. So the show just ended. Like, that happens. Like, people stop working together all the time. And this is what people got to understand. This is the one thing that I hated about the entire situation. If our show would have been on Netflix cancels show all the time. The show just ain't coming, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't get no drawn out explanation. It's already hard enough to make it in this game. We are two young Black men trying to make it. I hated that people tried to pit us against each other. I could not say anything without people being like, he's taking shots. I just was just like, bruh, why can't it just be that it just ended? You can still support him, you can still support me, you can support both of us. You can do whatever you want. And the thing that I hated was like, all of the narrative started to be that it was like, it's just me. It's because of me drinking. It's because of this and this and the third. That's one thing I will clear up. That podcast coming to an end had nothing to do with alcohol. And I'll just leave it there with, and like I said, like, just the two people that created that show know why that show isn't, on anymore. And I think that's, I just would just like it just to be left there. And I would just love to, if people enjoy my content, to just, come rock with me. But it's just like, I don't want to keep bringing that up. I don't want to keep being compared to it. It's not coming back. Like, you know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
And a lot of people think that, is there tension with me and all that? There's no tension. Like, like, I was there for 6 years. I gave that place a lot of my life. It's just, what's really important to me right now is just building something for Doboy. And I just wish that, what I'm saying, the world, would just let me evolve. That's all I want. Like, just to try, like, I used to be a gospel rapper. Like, that means that I really want to change the world in a positive place. And what I learned in 2020, negativity just doesn't look good on me. I'm a different person. Like, it dims my light. And so, just moving forward, I just would want people just to if you rock with me, cool. If you don't, that's cool. Because there's a lot of people that's, over the last 6-7 months, I lost 2,000 followers in a day one time for saying something. Like, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But I just would love to just stop constantly being asked about, things that I did in the past, and just let people allow me to move forward and do, new stuff and create my own type of thing that I want to do. Because, like I said, like on my page, I don't want to just do funny stuff anymore. Like, I want to do stuff, talking about real life situations.
Yeah.
It's important to me.
I think it's like, what's crazy is that the people leaving the rudest comments on your Instagram videos, everything, they'll say they're your biggest fans. They'll say they love you,
Man.
So
I've had people say and then it's just like, some of it's just such a reach. I can't put up anything without people think I'm trying to subliminally diss people. I'm just like, I put up a video of people saying happy birthday to me. People were like, he's taking shots. How is me put up?
Yeah, like
How is me taking shots?
I looked into it. I looked into all of your social media to do my Righteous and Ratchet video. And I was like, there's no beef. But we got 2 new shows, y'all. So it's like, I don't know where he's coming from either.
Right. Oh, that's another thing I wanted to clear up too. I know people have questions about the new normal. It's not coming back. And like I said too, just to even clear anything about that, that show coming to an end didn't have nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with me. And just like with the other situation, I won't go too far into it. But shout out to Triune, shout out to Yanti. Like, what I'm saying, like, me and like, because I know a lot of people was like, oh, it must be Doboy. He ain't on this show no more. He has to be the common denominator. He's the problem. No, that wasn't. But I do believe I wasn't ready to be back in content back then. I still needed to heal. And that's why, honestly, if you see my page, like, I think you did notice it too. Like, I went back and I took down everything that anybody could have said was negative at all. And I took it down. And you know how this is, like, when your page is getting monetized, like, that cost me some money. Like, but because a lot of those videos were doing views. But I said, if anything is going to be perceived as any bit of negative, then I don't want it on my page. Like, I really saged my whole page. Like, nah, I'm not doing it. If it's anything that anybody could even try to twist and tweak to make it look like something negative, I'm out with it. Because I just don't have any I ain't got no room in my life for it no more. Like I had enough negativity in 2020 to last me a lifetime. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to switch gears and talk about
Okay.
bipolar
Okay.
disorder. Are you
Okay. What you said you wanted to talk about what?
bipolar disorder?
I would love to talk about it.
Okay, so I'm just going to open it with, as a person with a psychology degree and as a
Mhm.
person who has a psychiatrist who has diagnosed mental disorders, I can 100% say that people need to understand that being bipolar doesn't mean you're crazy, doesn't mean you're Kanye West, doesn't mean you think you're God. It means that
Mhm.
whatever you're into, you're super fucking into it until you can't care anymore. And
Mm.
like people just don't understand that being bipolar doesn't mean you're this way and you're that way. It means that
Mhm.
you're able to be totally engrossed in what you're doing. And like what you were doing, you were trying to create, you were trying to make it best,
Mhm.
you were trying to do the best you can. And then it's like some days you can't do it because that's just, I mean, you can tell your own experience, but from my experience of being bipolar, it's like
Mhm. Oh, you're
some,
bipolar too?
oh yeah, yeah, I'm
I
bipolar. I
didn't
have
know that.
anxiety.
Yo, I'm gonna be coming out with a piece of content called the Bipolar Bear. I would love to have you as a guest on the show.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yes, I did not know. Okay, cool. Yes,
Yeah,
okay, I
that's
didn't know that.
like low key why I was kind of more mad at your fans because I'm
Mhm.
like, y'all are talking about bipolar disorder like it's a fucking disease. And
Man,
Kanye West
so let me,
and Tyra Banks aren't the only examples.
man. So let me tell you my experience. So let me just tell you about just how I found out
Mhm.
I was bipolar. Mind you, my father's bipolar, right? So I know it runs in my family or whatever, but I don't know. I just think me for whatever reason, I think I just was just like I I I didn't take mental health seriously. Like a lot of people in the urban community. And plus I was just like I knew it would get me stigmatized, but I think in the back of my mind I always knew something was a little different. But I am fully convinced that this pandemic pressed this out of me. Like seriously, because I I believe that I've probably been having this my entire life, but I've always been able to stay busy. I've always been able to work, always been able to creatively just create since a child, from playing drums to rapping. Like I've always been creative. I told my mom that recently. I said, I think creativity is my match, seriously.
Mhm.
So staying in the house had me just tripping, right? Like and I'll never forget. So I went to a fortune teller. I don't know why I did this to this day, right? And I'm a man that believes in God. I never did that before, right?
I mean, you
And
can
I go,
believe in God and the stars.
huh?
You can believe in God and the stars.
Okay, well, I just, I had never partook in that, right? I just was always whatever, right? And so this lady was a fortune teller, and she was like reading these cards to me, right? And she like starts reading these cards and starts getting scared of it. She's like, oh my God, like people in the industry are gonna come against you and you're gonna fall out with some people. And I'm like, oh my God, my life is over. So
Yeah.
I go home instantly and I'm like, I need to get out of this relationship because I don't want to ruin her life. Like I believed everything this person told me, right? And then a lot of the stuff that she said ended up coming true. But the day that I knew something was wrong, because I started like this was like at a time where I was still trying to not drink. I was still sober at the time, right? And my behavior just started becoming erratic. It was like I'd be back to calling people super late at night, trying not to relapse. And I used to do this thing. I don't know if you've ever done this, but like I would do this thing to where like, say I would text somebody a paragraph, right? And say the paragraph would say something like, I went to the store, I got some groceries, today was a good day. But I would do that word by word, like when I'm kind of ramped up. So it'd be 50
Oh,
text messages that could have been one paragraph. You see what I'm saying? So, and then the day I knew, so people was asking me like, man, are you drinking again? I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm tripping. I don't know. The day I knew it was something that was up, I was in that living room right there. And I hadn't left the house all day. And I started doing this thing where I was pacing. Like I just kept walking back and forth in the living room. I didn't know why I had the Fitbit on. Didn't leave the house that day. Looked down at the Fitbit, 26,000 steps, and I didn't leave the house. At that moment, I was like, okay, something might be wrong. So then one of my peeps came through, was like, bro, let me just, if you're not drinking again and you honestly saying you're not drinking again, then it might be something bigger than alcohol because you acting like you used to when you drank. Let's, get you into a psych ward, get you eval. I'm like, all right, cool. When I went to the psych ward, like they came back in what seemed like 15 minutes, like, oh, bipolar, PTSD, early signs of depression, you're gonna have to take medicine for the rest of your life. And I think that's where everything shifted for me because then I just became so afraid. I'm in there in the psych ward, I'm seeing people act in a certain type of way that I'm like I've seen some things in that psych ward that I can't unsee. Like, you know what I mean? And then I'm talking to people and they're telling me their experiences of bipolar and like how they would wake up in jail or wake up and they gave away $15,000 to somebody. Like, so it just made me afraid of myself because I didn't know this thing. And so I'm like, and then they're telling me, we don't even think you should keep on in entertainment because it's a high level of stress for you. If you can do something else. And do you know how hurt, could you imagine somebody telling you not to do what you love? And so then I'm just like, well, what am I supposed to do with? And so then it just became fear. I was just so afraid. And I was afraid to relapse. And I was afraid. And it just, then I tried the medicine and the medicine was making me feel weird. And it was just like, man, I don't even know how to live with this thing. But I just had to realize it took me like a whole 6 months to just accept it. Like, okay, no, you're bipolar. You're also a dad. You're also a son. You're also a brother. You're also a rapper. You're also a podcaster. Don't become your diagnosis.
Yeah.
And I think that I did. And I think that fear of that diagnosis really had me, tripping for real. But now I'm just like, I know how to deal with it, to a degree. But yeah, I was tripping, man. Like right before I found out, like it was a tough time, man. And then what I learned with how crucial it is to stay sober this time around is that alcoholism is like gasoline to that fire. It's like, now it's like you don't got no control of your thoughts. And like the whole summer when I'm drinking every day, I'm like, man, is this the bipolar? Is this the bipolar? It's like, no, you drink all the time. You can't do that. Like, and alcohol is a depressant. And it just doesn't make the bipolar thing any easier to deal with. So it's much easier to just cut the alcohol out. And then when I start to see myself, having a manic moment or, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, oh, now I know what I'm dealing with. But like, I'm telling you, like when I was having like those depressive moments, like, I don't know if you've ever had those depressive to where I couldn't leave the house crying all day, and not even knowing why, just sad. I was just like, I just wanted it to end. But it's something that, I'm learning to live with now. That's another reason why I wanted to make that content, because this is something that millions of people deal with. And a lot of people are ashamed of it. I'm like, nah, man, we're not finna be ashamed of nothing. Like, we finna just get better.
I mean, what I do want to say is that like my mom was bipolar or is bipolar. She's still alive. And
Okay.
my number one problem was that her problem was that she didn't want to take pills. She was like, I'm not going to take pills for the rest of my life. The same thing you said. But there's other things that she did every day. She drank vodka every day. She takes vitamins every day. So it's like when you think about all the other things that you consume every day, obviously not the alcohol anymore, but it's like for me, taking my meds every day is like, this is my help for the day, It's like, this is my boost of you're in control of yourself. And I mean, my psychiatrist did have to warn me that just because I feel better now doesn't mean I should stop taking it because, that happens. But it also took me 3 tries to find my medicine.
That's what they say. They said they got to like, and I don't think that I ever gave the medicine a fair shot because I was drinking. So you're not supposed to drink with that stuff anyway. Yeah. And it's like, you don't, like I took it when I first came home from the psych ward, and I just did like, they tried to put me on Depavat. I don't know how to pronounce it. I always mess up the whatchamacallit. But they tried to put me on that and a couple of other things, but they just made me feel, if I could metaphorically say it, it would make me feel like the lights was on but nobody was home. I just felt like spaced out, and I was just like, I don't like this. Like it was just so, but what I have learned too is that there's a lot of other things that I can do to help with this. Working out really helps me. Like me working out to this morning, like it calms my mind down and chills. I've been getting into meditation. I try to, make sure I keep my sleep right. Like it's so many things that gotta happen. Like I try to make sure I eat right. I try to make sure that I get enough sleep. I try not to be around stressful people at all, because it puts me in, in danger of, having an episode. Like, so yeah, I think I'm gonna give the medicine a shot again this year. And just to see, you know what I mean? Because the pills that I was taking, I would take them when I would go to sleep, and they would help me sleep. And so I'm open to it now, especially since I'm back dedicated to being sober. So I definitely will see, I'm open to taking the meds.
Yeah, like in a way, it can be incorporated into a routine to build a better day for yourself. Like if your pills are over there, you have to wake up, stand up, get to the pills. Now that you're up, you can drink some water. Now that you've drunk some water, you can work out. Now that you've worked out, you can write. It's like, that's what I've been working on. And so I think everyone can, but obviously that's not how life works. But I think
let me ask you this. I didn't mean to cut you off. Let me ask you this. What do you do when you're in the depressive state? Like, how do you ever pivot out of that? Because there was moments where I felt like I couldn't pivot. I was like, I cannot change the way that I feel. But then when I would snap out of it, then I'd be super hyper, bouncing off the walls, like a total complete opposite of what the depression was. How do you try to pivot yourself out of the darkness?
Okay, so pre-meds, I would smoke weed. That was the easiest way. Just smoke weed and watch anime, eat a lot of ice cream. That's what I did. I like stayed in bed for 2 days, did everything I wanted to do as a kid. And then I was like, all right. But I guess another thing is that I've always been in school. Like this is my 6th year of college. So
Nice.
yeah, no, not nice. I just need that student loans.
Hey man, education is key. My daughter's looking at some colleges right now. So yes,
Oh, she's too young.
why did her mom just send me a video yesterday? Kiara driving.
Oh,
I
wait,
wanted to
she's
jump.
like 14, right?
Oh, she's 15.
Oh, then yeah, that's fine.
She'll be 16 in September. My baby grown, man. I know that's totally off topic, but yeah, my
No, it's
baby's
okay.
driving now. But yeah, so you just like let yourself chill, have a day, do the things you want to do, and you can have now like what's the longest? Because I've been hearing different things. Like sometimes you can stay in that depressed state for months. Like, what's the longest you feel like you've ever been in the dark place,
So for
for
me,
lack of a better term?
it's like, luckily for me, like my periods, they only last like 3 days max. So I don't have to do like the longevity. And I've always had roommates, so that if I like literally didn't leave my room, they'd, come in and be like, you okay? I can't let the doses get too high because I have like anxiety. So it's like, there's a point to where my body won't let me fuck up things for other people. So
Got it.
when I lived by myself, the entire winter break from December 13th to like January 17th was a haze. So I don't know what I did then, but I know what I did with roommates.
Yeah, and see, and back now, because Kiara actually went back to sex, so she's actually, chilling with her mom, and like, obviously, like I'm back single now, so it's like now I'm back just alone, and that could be scary too. Like, for as much as I do feel like I'm coming out of the darkness and starting to figure this out now, like sometimes it is better to have somebody there just to kind of be like, hey, you straight, like you good, like, you know what I'm saying? So that is something that I suffer with, but I take it just as a day-to-day thing, because like it had gotten so dark that like I talked about this on my thing, like I was having suicidal thoughts just because I just wanted it to stop. Like I had 2 welfare checks on me, like when the police coming out, like, are you gonna hurt yourself? And I'm like, nah, man, like I'm cool, like, because I was just so sick of suffering. Like I was just like, this gotta stop. Like not being able to slow my thoughts down, people saying negative things about me publicly, and it was then I'm drinking all the time. Like I was just like, yo, and I've never been like that. 41 years of my life, I've never been like, I don't like the idea of living. But I was starting to feel like that, because it was just like I was just being, And that's why I feel like people need to be careful how they handle people and the things that they say about people. Because all them things that people were saying, what if I really would have did something to myself in that time? I bet then it would have been a bunch of RIPs and oh, it's just so sad. But y'all really were sitting here on my head about this. So
They
just
would have made a
understand.
montage. They would have
Come
said,
on.
I loved you,
Oh
Doboy.
man, I loved him. He was so positive, but now I'm dead
Yeah.
because you just a mean-spirited person. And that's just why it's just like I just think people need to chill with that. And I think that this social media, we're all learning on the fly. Like this didn't exist. Like we're still in the infancy of this digital world that we are living in. Like people be forgetting Instagram has only been around since like 2011. Like you see what I'm saying? YouTube came out 06. It's 2021. Like this is like we're all learning. So I almost despise it when people say stuff like, "Oh, well, it's just comments, man. You shouldn't care." Like, no, that's still a hurtful comment being directed at me.
No.
And
See, that's why like, I was kind of upset at Twitter so many times this year because it's like, why are you mad at Cardi B for asking her fans if she should buy a purse? Like, why do you follow celebrities just to get mad at them? Why are you on the
and
internet just to be mean? It's like,
and,
you enjoy
and
anything?
the thought of what cancel culture with makes me want to vomit.
Yeah.
Like, just think about like what other profession do we work in to where people will look for mistakes that you made in your past to try to stop you for providing a way for your family. I just don't understand that. Like, and like cancel culture is real. Like that day I told you that I lost, and I'll tell you offline when I said I don't want to say it publicly because I don't want to lose another 2,000. But I said something and it was just really an objective statement. I wasn't taking sides in the situation. I was just saying, hey, I don't know all the details about said situation. Lost 2,000 followers. 2,000. I was like, I was sick. I went to bed with 170,000 subscribers. I mean, if followers on Instagram. I woke up with 168 and I was only asleep for like an hour. I was like, man, they was trying to get me up out of there. I was like, woo, they ain't playing, man. They trying to get the boy up out of here. Nah, man,
Yeah.
I couldn't let it happen. I hate cancel culture, and I just hate negative. I just dislike negative people. It's like, man, and you know what this is. It's already hard enough to try to find your stride in this game and do content that people actually like. And
Yeah.
that was another thing that I kind of despise about the whole thing because it was like I was just getting trashed by regular people. Like the majority of people who was trashing me was church folks. I was like, why don't y'all pray for me? Like, where's all this judgment coming from? Yeah.
I don't know. It's like they think they have grandma privileges. Like your grandma, you can walk in and she'll be like, "Oh, you gained weight. I'll pray for you." But these people, they can't say you gained weight. Just say I prayed for you. Don't. You don't
Exactly.
have leverage in this situation. Don't say that shit.
And see, then people don't even be knowing what they be talking about. Like I posted a video yesterday, my first video back, and it got a ton of great positive feedback. But somebody goes in the comments like, "Oh man, he back drinking, all that weight coming back." What people don't understand is I actually be a lot lighter when I'm drinking because that's all I be doing is drinking and I don't be eating. And every time I get sober, I always gain some weight because I've been dehydrated from drinking. So it's like you're not even saying what it is. Like if you see me gain some weight and you hear me talk about stop drinking, that's a great thing. Everybody gains weight when they go to rehab. Like, so I just like it's like people don't even be correct in the dumb stuff that they be saying. That's
Yeah.
irritating AF.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it is what it is. You kind of just gotta let them do what they do.
Wait, so I want to make sure. I don't know if you said it or not. No, I don't think you said it. But there were a lot of assumptions that you had started drinking before you actually did. Do you want to talk
Yes, and
over it?
sure, yeah. Like everybody was like, that's kind of like even what I was saying with because that was the narrative that most people would go was like, he started drinking again, he got fired,
Mm-hmm.
and everything had already happened before that. So it's like, so people was assuming that I was drinking and I wasn't. So then it was just like, and then like I don't know if you've seen this, I had went live, like I was crying on the live, I threw the medication at the thing, like I damn near had a mental breakdown in front of 900 people, like. So that was the thing that I hated too, like people just assuming that me being drunk, I must have said or done something inappropriate. No, I needed to walk away from a bunch of this content because it wasn't healthy for me to be doing it. And then I simply wanted to come back And instead of going back to old things, I simply wanted to just start my own thing. Cause that's the thing. Like I've never owned my own thing. Like, you know, when I was on Wild and Out, that's not my platform. It's Nick Cannon's. When went to All Death, that's Russell's. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to build something on my page. Like I want to own something. Like, you know, I've collaborated with enough people to garner a little bit of interest for people and a little bit of name for myself. But now this is what I want to do. And that was even like the main reason I just even wanted to be able to clear the air with you on this. And, you know, and thank you for allowing me on your platform. It's just like, I just want to be allowed the permission. I don't even want to say permission. I want to be allowed the opportunity to evolve. Like, I feel like
you're moving on and they're either getting in the truck or they are leaving. You're being left behind or you're getting on the wagon.
And yeah, and I'm telling you, this, what we just doing, this is my first and last time talking about all of that stuff. Like I'm 2020 out. Like, and the reason why I chose your platform, because I respect, you know, the respect that you have for me. And I was just like, yo, you know what I'm saying? I would like to talk to her about this. So, you know, like these are things. So if people want to know, they can get it here. But moving forward, I'm not even, whenever I do interviews, like they going, like, you know how it is before interviews goes, I'm like, hey, don't ask me about this, or because I'm just not, and plus I just feel like it's just time to move on. Like at this point, we like 7 months removed, 8 months removed now. Like, let's all just move on, man. And I want this to be clear too. I want anybody who I have worked with in the past to flourish and win. I want to be on record for saying that. I don't have no problems with nobody that I used to work with. 0 people, excluding nobody. And I just want everybody to win. And I just want to push this positivity. Because like I said before, man, it's already hard enough just to be able to make content that people want to click on. I don't need to be no messy person out here beefing or allegedly beefing with people, man. That's just so corny. Like, I'm just so over all that. And I just really want to clear the air on that. Like, let's just leave it alone. Like, I finally addressed everything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people kept wanting me to speak on the R&R thing. And I'm just like, no, I'm not. And you can't force me to. But just the one time I talk about it, I didn't even talk about it on my video. Mm-hmm. I was just like, listen, this is it. So I'm just, you know, I just hope that people can just be like, okay, now I get it. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Cool.
Yes.
Like, now we're all good. You know what I'm saying? I'm praying that happens. But even if it don't, I'm not giving it no more energy. So that's what I'm at with it.
That's what I'm about. Okay, so we addressed the past. You're moving on. No bad blood. What are we looking forward to?
The evolution of Doboy. So my page is not just going to be just for sketches and funny stuff. I mean, I'll still have that stuff there, but it's going to be a lot more just personal stuff. Like I said, the Dobriety episode. Actually, after I get off the phone with you, I gotta toss that first episode up. I just shot it before we did this, and that's just about me trying to stay sober and live a sober life. Like I said, the Bipolar Bear, which I want you to be a guest on, where I'm talking about mental illness. Spiritual Sundays, where I talk to my brother Richard, you know what I'm saying, and just trying to strengthen my relationship with God. Get Fit, Say Less, of course, coming back, you know, helping people get fit. The Doughboy 2.0 show, which is, you know, a podcast that I'll be doing by myself, you know what I'm saying, a cooking show with me and Kiara. Like, just, I want to just not just be funny. I also want to just, you know, push just living a balanced life. Like, you know, I feel like everything that I went through in 2020, it would be for nothing if I just would have folded it up and went away. And I feel like I got a powerful testimony. I feel like, you know, I wouldn't take anything back from 2020 because it brought me so much closer to God. And I just want to I feel like I have a future in ministry. Like, I want to just turn into the best version of myself. And that's another thing that I had to stop doing. Like, you know how they say comparison is the thief of joy? I had to stop, like, looking at all the people that I used to work at and all the great things that they were doing, because it's just human nature to be like, man, I was just rocking with cats, and man, and trust me, I see it all. I'm happy for these cats too. But it's like, I used to be a part of things, but it's like I had to understand my mission in life was never supposed to be the same as other people's. Like, I came into this, like, a lot of people don't know, I started doing comedy at 26. I didn't grow up wanting to be a comedian. The only reason I started doing comedy because my best friend was convinced I was funny. True story. I don't even be thinking I'm that. I'm telling you, people tell me that all the time. I don't even genuinely be I be just like, yo, like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I thought I was supposed to be a rapper. I thought I was supposed to change the world and get people saved by that. And so I just had to understand, like, Doe, you were not this transparent about your entire life for nothing. This is a powerful story. You could really, help some people. So now, like, that's more of my focus. Like, and so I had to come to the acceptance of that. Like, okay, forget what everybody else is doing. That's not important right now. What do I want to do? What's the legacy that I want to leave? When people talk about that dash in between my life, whenever they close the box on me, like, what are people going to say? And I just want to be remembered for just trying to make the world just a better place. Like, I really feel like I can do it because I really feel like I've gone through things. I don't feel like God would have let me go through those things if I was going to break and buckle and, succumb to it. So yeah, I want this page just to be about, positivity and just good times and good vibes. And anything that looks anything unlike that would not ever be on my
I can
page.
definitely feel the motivational speaker coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna do a one-man show. I'm gonna call it the One Man Doe. So yeah, I really just wanna um just push it forward, man. And I want this time next year, I want to be able to look back and be like, man, look at how much difference a year made. Look at where you at, man. So and I know that, me being able to rest up for all of that time, like, I'm ready to get back to work. And it's helping me stay sober, and it's helping me not have manic episodes to get back into the work, just throwing myself back into it. Like, and I love the reception that I got back this time. It wasn't a bunch of negative comments, because, like, every time I would post anything, it would just be it would just be a lot,
Like literal
and
demons. I'm like, where are you
huh,
coming from?
man, people.
Oh.
And then it's like, and to the point to where it's like I couldn't even enjoy putting up content. It was just like, man, this is just, it made me hate what I do. But I truly believe that lightness is more powerful than darkness. And I feel like people are gonna rock better with me in this lane. Angry Doe, I don't even like Angry Doe. It's just too much. It just, and like a lot of that stuff I was listening to, I was like, Doe, what were you doing? I'm just sitting here cussing on songs, just doing too much because I'm angry and I'm hurt, and I just wanted to somehow stop feeling that way.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I just, what the biggest thing that helped me in all of that was? Just forgiving everybody. Like, anybody that I perceived did me wrong, even including that lady that made this 13-minute video about me, Doboy is an alcoholic, who we won't say this person's name.
Okay.
I had to forgive everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because when you walk around with that negative energy in your heart, it's heavy. So I had to forgive everybody, and not even forgive them for them, but forgive them for me. And then I had to go and ask the people that I felt that I wronged for forgiveness as well. And then once I was able to kind of get that balance out and just kind of feel better, it was like, okay, like, now let's move forward and just leave that, in the past, and let's move forward just with positivity.
Okay. So speaking of moving forward, how do you
Mhm.
plan on how do you plan on celebrating your accomplishments? Because I know creative types, y'all
Um,
here to get to where you want to be, but then you don't celebrate. What's up with that?
wow, that's actually a really good question. I don't know. Like, I think in hustling so hard and trying to get it for so long, like, we don't ever stop and look at any of the things that we do, because it's just like it's always on to the next thing, on to the next thing. Um, I think that I would start planning little, like, markers, and just, yes, just celebrate them in some way. That's so odd that you say that, because I don't think I've ever celebrated anything that I ever did. I just kind
Sure.
of kept going to the next
You
thing.
have an
So
IDB or whatever the thing is.
I have a what?
You have an IMBD page, I think? Definitely.
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah. I did. I definitely do. But I probably never even see. I probably haven't looked at it in like a bunch of years. But no, I definitely would love to start celebrating some of these wins. So I'm gonna definitely look into that. I don't know
Okay.
if I answered the question all the way, but I will definitely look into starting to celebrate the wins. Because, I trust me, I sure did cry about all the losses. So could use some motivation and some good times for the wins.
Okay. Well, that was pretty much all I wanted to talk about.
No,
Just
thank you. This is definitely a great conversation, and I definitely wanted to just shout you out again. I like what you're doing, man, and I see you doing your thing on stand up, man. If you ever want to just chop it up, and I can give you whatever tips that I have, because I definitely think you got something there. Just keep. I think you're gonna. I think your page is gonna pop real soon, man. Just keep being positive, man, and just keep doing your thing, man. I really rock with the content, and trust me. And this is something I definitely want to tell you too. When I was going through that, and people were saying some of the most terrible things about me, you were one of the few people who publicly kind of made me feel better, and I just wanted to genuinely thank you for that. And I don't even mind, even when you said, when you would give your honest opinion, you'd be like, "Yo, I tried to watch the new normal. I didn't like it." Listen, I'm okay if that's what your opinion is, but you weren't being malicious. You weren't being hateful. You weren't being mean. You were just saying like, "No, it's just ain't really my cup of tea." But you know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. So
yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that it was definitely appreciated, the way that you spoke of me publicly, and thank you for that.
Thanks.
It was definitely a breath of fresh air when I was getting suffocated.
Well, thanks for reaching out.
For
Also, I
sure.
guess shout out to Triune because he keeps leaving
Shout
comments
out my
on
brother
my
Triune.
videos.
Shout out to my brother Triune, man. I actually talked to Triune for like an hour this morning, man. I love that brother, man. And he and I actually have a new podcast coming very soon as well. It won't be on my page, but it's gonna be a
Mhm.
sports podcast.
Okay.
Me, him, and another brother by the name of EQ. So we're just putting together, all the stuff for that. So I'm super excited about that. Because I just feel like I'm just doing just a bunch of just new stuff. Like
Mhm.
it's cool to do new things. And that was another thing too. Like when I kept getting those questions about, would I go back to, other things, I'm like, man, I kind of did that. Like I want to just do some new stuff. So I'm excited about the new stuff. I'm excited to be talking about sports. I'm excited about the Doughboy 2.0 show, doing my own podcast by myself, like being able to be like, y'all will listen to me for an hour. Like I think it's gonna be dope. So I'm just so much in a better place. And it's only been one day of 2021. So yeah, I'm just ready just to have the best year ever. And I wish you and all of your lovely fans the same. I hope that we all have the best year ever. And if you guys haven't already, please go to my page and subscribe. I am Doboy TV. IamDoboy TV.
Yeah,
And I'll be trying to drop content on a daily basis.
absolutely. Are we gonna get more music?
Yes, working on an album now. So I'm gonna be doing music and parody still, and I'm about to start making beats again, because I figured the way out of this darkness is just to just throw myself into work. So I'll be going live, making beats. Like I really just want to tap back into a lot of the creative things that I was doing before comedy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I had, I think I released 5 albums before I ever told one joke. Like, independently, they didn't sell a lot, but I still made them. But I really want to like make the album that just kind of, but I want it to be positive. I don't want to make bitter, sad Doughboy music. I want to make uplifting, Doughboy music so yeah, but yeah, I'm working on an album right now. And yeah, it's just gonna be a lot of good stuff. It's gonna be more on the tone of the record I released on Christmas, that It Is Done.
Mhm.
Just getting back to that, like more of like when I was doing the Wonder Years, and just being more spiritual and just uplifting, and just making motivational music. So yes, the bars will be back for sure.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you guys heard it. I am Doughboy TV. Obviously, it's going to be in the description as well.
Yes.
Um, I just hope that everyone listening to this understands that we are all people. We acknowledge that you are also a person. And while we enjoy your views, know that you can get blocked at any time.
Facts. Very quickly. And I'm telling you, and let me tell you, I'm be having like a no tolerance policy. If I see your comments and you on some negativity, it's getting deleted, you getting blocked. We not doing none of that no more. You know what I'm saying? But to be honest, like if I feel like the comments start bothering me, I'll just stay out of the comments,
That's
because
a
I'm
good
gonna
idea.
find out by the views and the watch time if y'all like the content anyway. So I don't have to. Sometimes it's like we be a glutton for punishment. Like we like somebody up in there talking crazy, but you go in there and read it anyway. Perfect stranger. and somehow it offends you. So yeah,
That's
but yeah, I would just hope my one wish for that is that we could just leave that negativity in the past, at least on my page. Like, go be negative somewhere else, because I'm not pumping no negativity.
in
So
fact,
yeah,
don't be negative anywhere. If you
yeah, just
I did a video and I mentioned someone else and all of her
mhm.
fans came to crap on me. And it's like, why don't you go down donate to her Cash App? Why don't you
Yes,
support her? Don't come to me.
yes,
I don't care.
exactly, and it's just like with all the stuff that is, we are literally in the middle of our first pandemic with so much, with people ain't got no money, people is losing their jobs, their houses. Let's just try to be positive and get through this, because there's already enough negative outside and we can't even go outside.
I can
It's
go.
enough. Well, yeah, okay. They put us another 3 weeks. So that's if people didn't get nothing from this video, please drop the negativity, because that's just out. We ain't rocking that. Like, that's just ugh. So yeah,
Exactly.
let's leave the negativity in 2020. So yeah.
Yeah. Have a
Mhm.
great day, guys. Bye.
For sure. All right, y'all.